The episode begins with Mahito saying, "So that was all, first grade sorcerer? You did well, but now you've reached your limits." Nanami checks his watch. It's 6:00 p.m. and removes his tie, saying, "Unfortunately, I'll have to go into overtime." Mahito, surprised by the surge in Nanami's energy, realizes he's been holding back. Nanami explains that his technique divides his target along lines, forcing a critical point on the body. He can choose any part, head, biceps, etc., and this technique works on non-living things too. Mahito acknowledges that Nanami is now serious. Nanami attacks and reveals he has two ways to end the fight: either wear Mahito down until he runs out of cursed energy, or finish him in one strike. Activates an expanded technique that targets Mahito with precise destructive force. Mahito is injured, his leg cut, and Nanami leaves, warning him to treat the leg quickly. Meanwhile, Itadori tries calling Nanami but gets no answer. Junpei finds a button on the ground, triggering a memory of Mahito telling him to befriend those in Jujutsu High. Junpei and Itadori bond over movies, sharing laughs and forming a friendship. Later, Junpei's mom invites Itadori to dinner. That night, a cursed object, Sukuna's finger, appears in Junpei's house. The next day, tragedy strikes. Junpei's mother is found dead. Nanami warns Itadori that one day, he might have to kill. At school, Mahito manipulates Junpei into believing someone planted the finger. He sets Junpei on a dark path. The episode ends as Itadori confronts Junpei, pleading with him to stop. The episode begins with Itadori telling Nanami that he's going, but Nanami stops him, saying he already explained in the morning that if a veil has been cast, it means Mahito is still alive and inside the school. He asks Itadori to wait, but Itadori cuts the call and Nanami sighs, saying he knew talking wouldn't help. Nanami then entrusts the rest to Ino, who seems shocked but agrees. Meanwhile, Itadori confronts Junpei at the school, but Junpei warns him to stay away. As they argue, Junpei's Shikigami grabs Itadori. Junpei questions the point of saving others, saying emotions are just the metabolism of the soul, and he walks off to finish his task. Flashbacks show Mahito teaching Junpei about his poison technique and how it would evolve. Back in the present, Itadori tries to talk sense into him but ends up fighting. He remembers Kento's advice to aim directly at the sorcerer. Junpei attacks, but Itadori refuses to dodge, trying to reach out to him emotionally. Just when Junpei starts to respond, Mahito appears and brutally transforms Junpei using idol transfiguration. Itadori is devastated and begs Sukuna to save Junpei, but Sukuna refuses. Enraged, Itadori attacks Mahito with full force. Mahito realizes Itadori's body houses two souls, making his technique less effective. Nanami arrives to assist, and together, they decide to fight until Mahito is exorcised. Despite injuries, Itadori pushes on, ready to end it. The episode ends with the fight intensifying, and both sorcerers determine to stop Mahito. The episode begins with Mahito transforming one hand into a blade and the other into a spiked club as he charges at Nanami and Yuji, but both dodge and counterattack. Mahito retreats and mocks their strength, realizing his previous attacks are ineffective. He then escapes by transforming into a child. Nanami and Yuji note that Mahito is storing cursed energy inside his body. Mahito summons transfigured humans and sends them after Yuji, knowing he won't kill. Yuji tries to avoid harming them, but when one begs to be killed, he is left in anguish. Mahito is satisfied, believing Yuji can't separate ideals from reality. Nanami disagrees, saying Yuji is learning to make that distinction. As they fight, Mahito activates his domain expansion, self-embodiment of perfection. Inside, Nanami is trapped and thinks back on his past, how he once lived for money, planned to retire at 40, and avoided meaning in life until a small act of helping a bakery girl changed his outlook. Back in the domain, just as Mahito is about to land a fatal blow, Sukuna retaliates from within Yuji's body, injuring Mahito and breaking the domain. Mahito escapes through a sewer but is badly hurt. Yuji collapses, exhausted. Later, Yuji reflects on the people he couldn't save and questions the meaning of a proper death. Nanami tells him that there's no clear answer, but he must not die before finding it, as many people, including him, are depending on Yuji's strength moving forward. The episode ends with Yuji determined to never lose again. The episode begins with Mahito jumping into a hot spring where Jogo is relaxing, splashing water on him. Mahito comments that Jogo's body is nearly healed, and Jogo agrees, saying the place is very comfortable. Mahito reflects that Sukuna and his vessel have become natural enemies, and the game he started for fun didn't turn out as he expected. He considers using force to make Sukuna accept the pact, but Geto reminds him that pacts can't be forced. Mahito realizes that instead of transporting Sukuna's vessel, attacking his body might have been better, though Sukuna would still heal him. Mahito steps out of the spring and agrees they should stick to Geto's plan. Jogo declares he's ready to die if it means giving real status to curses in the human world. Geto then retrieves 6 fingers from Jujutsu Tech, preparing to feed them to Yuji. Meanwhile, Gojo discusses with Nanami why he didn't inform Yuji about a finger found at Junpei's house. It would have made him feel guilty. Gojo plans a surprise reintroduction of Yuji to the others, who are shocked to see him alive. At Kyoto School, students gather for the exchange event, and various quirky personalities are introduced. Gojo arrives dramatically and presents Yuji to everyone, shocking his classmates. The exchange event rules are explained. Exercise a second-grade spirit to win with few restrictions. Meanwhile, Kyoto's principal orders his students to kill Yuji, calling him no longer human. Tensions rise as both schools prepare, and the episode ends with excitement and suspense. The episode begins as Gojo announces the start of the sister school exchange event, and all participants rush into the battlefield. Meanwhile, Noritoshi wonders where Todo is, while Maki sarcastically responds that she wouldn't know. Yuji asks where the cursed spirit might be, and Panda guesses it's likely near the center but won't stay in one place. Maki explains their plan. She, Panda, and Megumi will take positions while Yuji handles the unexpected. Suddenly, Todo appears and punches Yuji, launching him backward. Everyone is shocked that he came alone, and Maki notes that their strategy to leave Yuji with Todo was right. The story flashes back to the planning stage, where Maki admits that fighting Todo head-on is dangerous, and Yuji only needs to buy them time. Back in the present, Todo attacks fiercely, sending Yuji crashing into a tree. Yuji, confused but unharmed, continues fighting, surprising Todo with his resilience. When asked what kind of girls he likes, Yuji answers, tall girls with big butts, like Jennifer Lawrence, triggering a fantasy in Todo's mind where they're best friends in middle school. Returning to reality, the Kyoto students launch a coordinated attack on Yuji, attempting to kill him. However, Todo interrupts, calling Yuji his best friend, and protects him. Meanwhile, other Tokyo students realize Kyoto is targeting Yuji and rush to support. The battle heats up, and as Yuji begins matching Todo's strength, Todo challenges his growth, declaring that only through evolution can their friendship continue. The episode ends with their battle still raging.